Reddit by Reddit recap. What's the silliest way you managed to get laid? My now wife and I were at a party in our early 20s. We were all sitting around on the floor talking, laughing, having a great old time. I happened to mention I had on boxers that had old school personal ads you used to see in the paper. Well, one thing led to another and my pants were somehow undone and she, my future wife, proceeded to read my boxers while I lay on the floor drunk, under a fish tank I think. One thing led to another from there. I was at a karaoke bar and had been talking to this girl for a good half hour or so. She was a theater major and said that if I could impress her on stage she'd think about going home with me. I'm a pretty stocky guy, so I went up there and sang Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid with as much passion and flair as I could muster. Ended up having a pretty solid night with her. Me and my best girl friend were smoking weed. For her the first time. I've smoked before, but it must have been 2 years since our last touched a joint. We were smoking on the balcony. It was a warm summer night and laughed our asses off, obviously. Eventually, we went inside and just watched TV. All of a sudden, she asked if I ever got a BJ. I replied with yes, and asked if she ever gave one before. Her answer was no, on which she immediately went down my pants and went all on it, without warning. I could not believe what happened, but we ended up ducking for over 2 hours. One of my co-workers, were good friends and had hanged out after work a few times, was telling my other co-worker about how she's tired of being a virgin and just wanted to lose it already. I started laughing because I couldn't believe she was a virgin. She had a steady stream of boyfriends, was insanely hot. She was a model and competed in pageants. She was a massive flirt. Anyways, she starts swearing up and down that she is and my other co-worker vouches for her, so I'm like, oh nice. She then asks me if I want to take her virginity. Obviously I didn't duck and say no. It was just a one-time thing though. This girl I was friends with in high school wanted to hang out once. I wasn't attracted to her very much, but me being a teen made me lust for her. We were hanging in my room when we started to talk about the weight she has gained. Her telling me it's gone to her boobs and butt. With her butt she stood up to show me and I DK what told me, but I instantly grabbed her butt. Once I did that you could feel the tension in room and we both wanted it. Things led to another and I got laid. At a work party this French girl said I looked hot. I tried to reply thank you very much, which is merci beaucoup. However, you have to be careful pronouncing it, as I found out that I was pronouncing it more as merci beaucoup, making it sound like the French translation of saying thank you. Nice butt. She got a good laugh out of that. Later on in the night she just hopped on top of me and the rest is history. Suggested a game with co-workers over who could drink their wine the most seductively. As we got more drunk we spent more and more time staring into each other's eyes, and we ended up in bed together a couple of hours later. My time to shine. So I went out drinking with a friend, and after midnight of quite uneventful evening we went to see his 3 girlfriends into a bar. The 2 girls were weird and annoying and I was not in a mood for trying to impress them or whatever. The 3rd girl, hot, was silent the whole time, quite tipsy, and was doing a crossword puzzle. Without words I just sat next to her. We shared a look. Then she kept going for the crossword puzzle. Every time I knew an answer to something I took the pen and wrote the word into it. After about 15 minutes of this she took my hand and said let's go home. I said okay. That was the only thing I said to her until then. Took a cab and yes, sex was had. Was a good night. In a self-guided algebra class freshman year of college. Turn to a new chapter. Sets, relations and functions. Read the title to the girl next to me and said, I'd like to find a girl with a good set I could relate to and function with. She said all you have to do is ask. We hooked up that afternoon. Walked to a girl at a party and said, come with me if you wanna live. She played along and acted all scared. The best part, I called her Sarah the whole time, and when she asked me what's my name I said T900. When we split at night I said I'll be back. I actually pulled a Shermanator. God, I'm old. I went to this dance club with a buddy once. Out of nowhere they cleared the dance floor for some random game. They brought this girl out onto the middle of the dance floor wearing t-shirt with the word egg on it. Then the DJ goes around picking random guys to stand around the edges of the dance floor. I was one of those guys. There was about 10 of us. Then they proceed to hand us huge trash bags and put them on us like a giant shirt, and they had the word sperm on them. So, we had to lay on our backs, and only using our shoulders. We had to scoot to the middle of the floor to the girl egg. The first person there won tickets to some other show. Anyways, yours truly wins the game and they tell me to go to the DJ booth to collect my tickets. I walk across the floor and as soon as I stepped off the dance floor, me and this girl lock eyes. She was laughing at me, as was everyone else, and I offered her a drink. 2 hours later we were banging at her brother's apartment. Crazy night. Knew her for a long time. Saw her at a party and gave her my number for an unrelated and innocent reason. She sent me a text so I had her number. Obviously knowing who it was, I responded, "Who is this?" She replied with her name. I responded with, "Are you hot?" and she sent a picture without a shirt on but with her arm covering her boobs. I proceeded to pretend I was more drunk than I was and asked her to drive my truck home for me. She told her friend to drive her car home and she would see her in the morning. Score. Silliest seduction method? Was talking to a girl I knew for a while at a college party my senior year and we were pretty drunk. She mentioned how she was hungry, and I, feeling pretty emboldened by liquid courage, offered her to have some of my ethnic sausage. Yes, I know, kinda crude, but I was expecting it to be a Hail Mary, where either it would either work or at worst, I get slapped. To my surprise, she found it really funny, laughed pretty hard and agreed. And no, she did not try to bite or eat me, as that's a different story, though would have been ironically funny. The silliest thing I did to be silly, but somehow surprisingly worked in seducing a girl was from a photo bomb. Again, young drunk me likes to be an arsehole and play around when people try to take photos. Usually, most people find it hilarious, some get annoyed. But this one time at a bar, a group of girls were trying to take a selfie and I snuck in to take a nice photo of them. Some of the girls were annoyed but one of them thought it was hilarious and that I did a great photo bomb. She was really cute and we ended up talking for the rest of the night and hitting it off. A girl I was seeing had a small get together at her house and we were drinking in her hot tub. As the night went on, people started leaving, so there were only 5 of us left in the jacuzzi. The girl I was dating decided to take body shots off of her friend, like down her lower back so her face was planted between her butt. She said, "Don't go getting a boner on us," and I said, "Too late." Well, her friend Brie asked if she could see it and Madison said sure, but no touching. So I pulled it out of my swimsuit and had a pretty massive erection inches from their faces. She liked what she saw and snuck into the bathroom when me and Madison showered and asked if she could join. We ended up having a threesome that night and a game the next morning. When I was a teenager, there was a woman on the same crew as me. We were having drinks after racing and the pee bladders kicked in. Ended up on the same pee cycle. Joked with her that I might as well just go in with her. She says, "What's stopping you?" Ended up having sex in the bathroom. She lived a half mile from there, so that was just the appetizer. This is sort of a comedy of errors. I was dancing with a girl at a frat party. She was wearing this club dress with zippers all over it in odd places. I figured the zippers were fake and thought it would be funny to unzip them while we were dancing. So I reached up and zip, and a boob popped out at me. Not only did the zippers work, she was not wearing a bra. In a heartbeat, trying to recover from my mistake, I tried to zip it back up. Some tiny part of my brain realized this was a bad idea, because, nipple. So my other hand shoots up to save the day and tries to poke her nipple back in. So I shut the zipper, as much as I can, but now 2 fingers are a bit stuck inside her dress, pressing her nipple. Yes, I did not pull them out, just zipped right up to them and they are stuck. I do want to pull back because something might rip or get exposed again. Can't unzip because back where I started this mess. At this point I just looked at her face and I must have had the most helpless idiot look. She is pretty angry. I blurt out, "I swear, I thought they were fake." The zipper. I meant the zipper, not the tits. The tits are fantastic. Clearly not fake. I mean, I'm sorry. Oh ducky, just kill me now. She laughed so hard. I thought she was going to pass out. After what felt like 10 minutes, she finally reached up and unzipped enough to free my fingers. I just kind of stood there like an idiot and kept trying to apologize. She must like idiots. Later that night I got to unzip the rest of the dress. Best comment of the day. A couple months ago I was at a bar with my roommate. He was the one who wanted to go, and he dragged me along, so he wouldn't be alone, and I guess to give him a weird sort of moral support and confidence, to try to pick up chicks. I didn't feel like drinking or socializing, so I sat there on my phone. Eventually, my roommate tells me a hot chick just came into the bar. I look up at her and yeah, good looking chick. Not really my type, but good looking nonetheless, but she's with another dude. Eventually, the dude and chick come and sit next to us, introduce themselves and order us drinks. My roommate and the two of them get to talking, while I continued playing with my phone. My roommate starts hitting on the girl, while the other dude and I start talking a bit. The three of them decide we should all leave to smoke weed somewhere. I'm whatever at this point, I'm just along for the ride. Right before we leave though, the girl says to me, in front of my roommate, I'm drunk right now, so I'm just gonna be honest and lay it all on the table. The only reason we came over and talked to you guys was because I thought you were cute. Turns out the other guy is her brother-in-law, and he was taking his sister-in-law out to try to get her laid. So at this point, I have a couple drinks in me, and now a cute chick telling me, in so many words, she wants to hook up. I suddenly had a renewed interest in not being on my phone. Needlessly to say, I got laid that night. My roommate was super pissed.